One of the ways to build a very complex system is to first start with simple building blocks. In this case, I'm going to install this tool called WebSocket, and you can see that I can do this with a cargo install here. So if we do cargo install space dash dash features equals SSL WebSocket, this installs this in my path. Next up, I can start a client that will listen for requests. So this is really important because when you're building some kind of bidirectional socket communication and putting this into a website somewhere, there's a lot that can go wrong. And one of the ways to troubleshoot this is to first build these components locally. And once you build and test out your infrastructure, then it makes it much more simple to build a complex system on top of it. And WebSockets are very powerful technology that allow you to do things like live tail logs or have an interactive terminal. There's lots of really cool things you can do with WebSockets. So let's go ahead and get started here by typing in WebSocket-S 8080. So this will be a client that listens on this WebSocket port for us. And the port 8080 is where I would then send messages. So what I would like to do next here is to split the terminal, and we'll go ahead and say split down. And then once we're splitting down, I can actually send a message by sending something to that exact port. So let's go ahead and do WebSocket here. And then we'll do WebSocket, and then we'll do localhost, which is 0.0.1.8080. So now we have a client that can talk to that server, and we'll say, hi, I am client 1. There we go. Now, to make this really useful, what we should do is actually open up one more. So let's go ahead and create a second client, because again, with WebSockets, this is really the point, is that we have this pipe that we can use. So let's go ahead and do an up arrow, establish another client, and say, hi, I am client 2. There you go. You can see here that this is client 1, this is client 2, and we have the server that's able to send the messages. So in a nutshell, the WebSocket library WebSocket is a great way to start to debug and build into your workflow ways to make things simple. To build complex systems, you have to first build simple debugging tools, and then later you could dive into a hello world here that also inside of a web browser is able to listen to these events and get these messages. So I would highly recommend starting with these building block pieces, and then from there you can build these very complex systems, and that's something we'll definitely get to in the advanced